You want equality. Then you must take equality. You must take what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cry about it when things don't get done your way because you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
That's kind of where my position is. If you're going to enter a man's world, then you need to operate at a man's level. Don't come and think, wait, I'm going to enter a man's world now and I'm going to change it to suit me. It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that annoys me about feminists is they want to operate at that level and they want to be as good as a man. They want to be at the same level. But because I'm a woman, I want special treatment.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
It just, and then I actually work as a paralegal. So I deal with divorces. I deal with restraining orders. You would be horrified at what women do to men.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely disgusting. I've actually now been 10 years working as a paralegal. A lot of family law, a lot of criminal matters, domestic violence. And to be very honest, I'm now at a point where I would rather represent the man and I would help him take her out because it just, if you watch what women do to men, especially in the legal field, it's disgusting.
Okay.
They will go absolutely out of their way to eradicate them and they'll do whatever it takes. They will go to any limits. And they come and they will blow a story completely out of proportion just because they want to hurt their husband or their boyfriend or, it's a big problem in South Africa. Our government has actually now started what they call the gender-based violence movement, and I have got no support for that movement whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because they say it's gender-based violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't include the gay community. It doesn't include men. It doesn't include children. It's only geared towards women. So it's essentially created a platform for women to go and milk the system.
Yeah.
So they run to the cops. They go and scream abuse. The cops don't ask questions. They just run out and go and arrest the guy. They don't, there's just no question about it. It's a woman, you say you're being abused, they investigate nothing and people just get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But let a man go and do it.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole lot of questions and then you're lying, but are you sure? And what did she do? And why do you think this is abuse? And they don't want to move a muscle.
Right. What is your view on traditional gender roles?
Gender roles?
Mm-hmm.
I actually support it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I actually support it. I support... I don't support, this... How can I put this? I've seen a lot of marriages in my own personal life where I've seen the woman taking over a dominant role to the extent that she bulldozes her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has no say.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost broken.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't agree with. My position on that is that if you're going to be, even if it's just in a relationship, it needs to be a partnership. It mustn't be one of you above the other.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be equal.
And you see traditional gender roles as a sort of equality?
Yeah, it is. I think, to an extent, this is where the problem comes in. You take traditional and you get the husband that gets aggressive about that tradition. Like, I'm the man of the house, you'll do as I say.
Right.
Sometimes. That I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
What I do believe is that the husband should be, or the man should be the head of the household, but the wife's opinion needs to matter.
Mm-hmm.
So if there needs to be a big decision to be made, he needs to consult his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Her input needs to be given. It needs to matter still.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, the final decision is his.
Okay.
But it must never be a case of, listen, I'm the head of the household, I'll do whatever I please and you'll just fall in. That's also now going to the other extreme, which I don't believe in.
Right.
I do believe that women do have a place and they don't need to be subjugated. They don't need to be forced into these aggressively submissive roles.
Mm-hmm.
But they are crossing a line. They are going too far.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to the point where they're actually bulldozing men, and men just must get out of our society and we'll run things on our own. And yet I have found so many instances where women have tried to run things on their own and it's turned into the biggest fuck up ever.
Mm-hmm.
Men have a purpose. Women have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to be combined. You can't kick one out in favor of the other or overtake one in favor of the other. It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
What would society be if there was only one gender?
Mm-hmm. And what is the basis, you would say, of your of those beliefs in that? Does it come from a religious place, or are you religious, or?
I am to an extent.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit more open-minded.
Yeah.
So, but I think it comes a lot from just my upbringing. Just my childhood and just general life experience, and I've kind of just formulated my own opinion on things.
Okay.
It's kind of come from different sources, and that I've looked at things and thought, okay, you know what, this is kind of the way I'm going.
Right.
So, yeah, my mom was actually very domineering. She was a little bit of a hypocrite because she would always say to me, like, you need to find a man so you can get married.
Right.
But at the same time, she was busy running over my dad on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah. I thought to myself, okay, so you want me to find a man and get married so he can look after me, but you're bulldozing my dad on a daily basis. So which way are you going? Do you want me to be a feminist, or do you want me to bow down and submit to a man?
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah.
So I kind of just ignored her because I thought that was irrelevant source.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of just went my own way. And you know what? I've always found I'm the type of person, I don't have a lot of female friends. And I've been like that since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I relate better to men than I do to women.
Okay.
If I have maybe one or two female friends, it's a lot.
Yeah.
The majority of my friends are male.
Okay.
Because I can actually have a comfortable conversation with them. I can actually be in like a comfortable setting with them. The minute you put me in a room full of women, I want to run.
Yeah.
I can't no. It just doesn't work.
What is your opinion on men's rights activists? Also on the idea that men may be the ones who have it harder in society today?
I think men do have it harder in society.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think there needs to be more activism towards men's rights.
Mm-hmm.
I think society has put far too much emphasis on women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand, like in the 50s and 60s, and during the time when women didn't have a say and they weren't allowed to vote, and I do understand that was extreme patriarchy and it needed to be done away with. But I think they've taken it to an extreme, to the point where men don't even have a say in their own society anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, you walk down the street and a man looks at a woman funny, I mean, she can have him arrested. It's not right.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just not right. And I think there needs to be a lot more activism. Men need to take back their place in society.
Mm-hmm.
They need to stop feeling like they need to bow down to these feminist women and these women who seem to think that they just rule the earth, because they don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, but you know what, and it comes back to, this gender-based violence movement that we have in this country. I always said, and my position remains on it, if that movement had to start focusing on every gender, including the gay community, then I will start supporting it. Until then, I don't support it at all.
Yeah, it shouldn't be all about women when we talk about violence, especially when men also face more violence in many ways, or more risk of violence from strangers and so on and so on. Men face violence as well,
No, but I know a man who lives in my area who's been verbally and physically abused by his wife on a daily basis. This woman she's not all here.
Yeah.
Daily basis, she abuses the staff to the point that the staff have actually filed assault charges.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten that bad.
Mm-hmm.
She's kicked him out of, he owns the property, but she's kicked him out of the house. This is toxic feminism, that.
Mm-hmm.
She's kicked him out of the main house. He's living in a flat outside in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
He's not allowed near the house.
Mm-hmm.
She's busy kind of taking his daughter away from him, poisoning her mind against her father.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the police station to get a protection order, and he sat there for 2 hours being questioned by the police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, okay, but what did you do wrong?
Yeah.
This should not be the case.
And it wouldn't happen the other way around. So what is your opinion on, for example, gynocentrism, the idea that the world is naturally more biased towards women and easier on women, like we feel sorry for women easily and so on?
Look, women are the softer gender. We know that.
Yeah.
We have our strengths in the sense of, I would hate to see a man try and have a baby. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There are areas where we are stronger than men, a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But to a large extent, let's take, for example, if I was walking down the street at night and a man attacked me, I don't know if I'd be able to defend myself very well.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you had to attack another man, you see. So, in that sense, and, I think women are the softer gender. So the world needs to remember that.
Right.
But I don't believe that is enough excuse for a woman or for, these women's movements to say, okay, you know what, we're now going to climb to the top of the ladder without doing any work based purely on the fact that we're a woman, and you're just going to give us our way. And special treatment while we're at it. It doesn't justify that. I think women, and my actual belief on feminism, and I've always said this, if you really believe that you have the ability to operate, hell, I operate in a man's world. If you think about it, the legal field is male dominated. I've never asked for special treatment. I've worked my way to where I am. I've worked hard, long hours, and I've never once asked for special treatment. Why can these women not do that? Why must it be made easier for them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always said, you want to prove that you're better than a man, that you can do their work better, that you can, on so many levels that, men must just stay down there somewhere and you're now going to climb. But you want the path open to you because you're a woman. And you want special treatment because you're a woman. It doesn't work like that. You need to accept the fact that you're a woman. You want to follow this path. You want to operate in a man's world. So you need to get there the same way a man would. You need to do the same level of work to prove that you're actually worthy of the position you want.
Okay.
If you can't do that, then you need to stay where you are.
Okay. Would you consider yourself an egalitarian or not?
How do you mean?
Like, egalitarians argue for equal rights for men and women versus people who are not egalitarian, who more believe that men and women are not equal, so we don't need necessarily equal. Egalitarians want equality in the same sense that feminists do, but they think that both sides need help. Whereas non-egalitarians don't really care whether or not men or women are equal.
I think, from a human perspective, I think every human being has the right to the same rights.
Right, okay.
Under the Constitution, the country's Bill of Rights, whatever those rights would be, I think every human being has the right to the same rights.
Okay.
But I also, at the same time, if you look at it from a gender perspective, I don't believe men and women are the same. They're not equal.
Okay.
Whether it's physically, men think differently. Physically, we're different. Women are more emotional creatures, although I tend to find feminists like to deny that to a large extent. But women are more emotional creatures. We're thinkers. We are different in so many different ways.
Okay.
And what feminists seem to forget is that our differences is what makes us compatible. We complement each other. So why do you want to now rid yourself or change yourself to be the same as the thing that you're supposed to be compatible with? Because it puts you out of that. Why would you want to do that? But I think, just from a human being perspective, I think every human being has the right to the same rights.
Right.
Whether you're a man, woman, child, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. As long as you're a human being, you have the right to. I don't think any human being should be denied basic rights.
Okay.
But I think the world needs to just remember that between men and women, there are differences.
Right.